morning and welcome back for another adventure. We're in the Blue Ridge Mountains today outside of a little town called Barnardsville. It's about 15 minutes from my house. Pretty cold this morning actually. It's probably only about 37, 38 degrees, but we're headed out of town this weekend and I really wanted to get in another one of these adventure videos before we left. So welcome back. I appreciate everyone being here. We're gonna go up this creek system over here. We're gonna take a hard right and go up into the mountains right here and explore this creek system. We're gonna try to find a spot to sit down and relax and meditate, ground ourselves, and try to be present in the moment today. So thank you everybody for being here. Here we go. I don't know if y'all can see up in here, but this is a big area of debris it seems like we're starting to get into right here. After Hurricane Helene came through here, it destroyed all sorts of stuff. One of the things that's been pretty significant is the outdoors. The amount of trees that we have lost in this area has just been countless. So I don't know if you can see it on the video right there. I'm kind of standing on this log, but you can start to see kind of up in that area right there where there's a huge amount of trees that have fallen over right here. So I'm curious as we move through this creek bed right here what we're going to find ahead of us right here. We used to come out to this area a lot about 6 months ago before the storm, and I haven't been up here in a long time. Never been along this creek bed before, but just this area in general, we haven't been up here to see what's going on. So, all right, I'm going to try to make it safely across this log. You gotta be real careful through here. A lot of unstable stuff. It's also hard to kind of know something's gonna fall out from underneath you. You know, I don't really, It's just crazy. Yeah, I mean, really, this is the best exit, this giant tree, at least to get out of all of this mess. The problem is I don't really know if I get up here, if I'll be able to get over there. I mean, I would, but I don't really know. I mean, holy cow. Let's see if we can get up here and get a little perspective on this. I think when you're down in it, it's kind of hard to see what the scale of all of this is. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. shit. Wow, look at that. So that is, I'm guessing, a section of the bridge up the creek right here. I'd heard that they had to reroute the road, but I had no idea that the bridge was in the creek at this point. And so we haven't been up this area in probably 6 months. Holy cow. Wow. I'm gonna have to be very careful in here because, you know, that bridge section was full of giant rusty nails and things like that. So looks like a piece of a wall. Oh wow. Holy shit. Oh my. That is just crazy. A piece of the wall right here. That is wild stuff right there. Excuse me. So that's where the bridge was, basically. So the road is just over here to my right a little bit. We're out in the woods, but there is an access road to kind of get up that can lead you up into the Blue Ridge Parkway area. Most of that stuff is closed right now because of storm damage as well, but yeah. So this wall right here, you know, this is the retaining wall that was built, and the bridge basically went across. The bridge went across from here over to here, and then the road kind of went up and then went up the hill. And it looks like that there was so much water that came through here that it just completely tore everything out of this section right here. This wall right here is cracked right here. I mean, this is a section of concrete and rock that got pushed down the river. This as well. And it might be hard to tell on the camera because I know perspective can be interesting sometimes, but the water came through right here, obviously, to the point where it knocked all that stuff down, and then it carried the bridge down over there. Part of the bridge. That's where we just came from right here. And so that part of the bridge basically, I mean, I doubt that unfortunately will ever come out. I don't even know how you could get it out. Until it basically, again, came down here, and there was so much force from the water that it carried it all the way down the river creek right here and deposited it right here and then covered it with debris and all sorts of stuff. That is just crazy. It's just astounding. All right, well, we're gonna push on here, but we're gonna be really, really careful through here. I imagine a lot of this stuff is still not very stable. Said you kind of never know what you're gonna get out here, especially right now. You know, I'd hope that this would be maybe a nice peaceful walk through the woods here. Some work for sure, but nothing like throwing a little trauma in there as well. So it'll feel that much better when we get to a spot up the river here. That is just crazy. Holy. All right, I'm gonna stop talking here for just a minute. I wanna make sure that I'm listening around me to what's going on. That's crazy. I said I was gonna stop talking, but I just can't, I guess. Like I said, this is the wall right here that was built, you know, and the bridge ran across right here, and so we're essentially standing underneath the bridge supports right here. I don't really know what's the best way to get through here. Again, it is all very unstable. Should hopefully be getting close to our spot right here. Oh man. Got a couple pretty large trees right here. You can see where they used to be attached to the bank here, to the side of the mountain right there. And I guess all the water that came through must have eroded everything underneath it, pulled everything out from underneath it, and it wasn't enough to keep them up, and they just toppled over. So we're gonna head up in here and see what it looks like. You gotta be real careful in these areas though. They can still be very unstable even though it's been about 6 months. Tell where this was. See if I can back up a little bit here. Right where that thing was stood up over here, and it's a pretty giant tree right there. And so we lost a lot of old growth trees that didn't make it through the storm, unfortunately. All right, so we should be getting close here, hopefully. All right. Looks like we found the spot we were looking for, which is great. There's the creek that we came up. The one tributary coming down from the high mountains back there. The main creek that we continues on up as well. And you got another smaller feeder over here. So what a great spot. As a lot of these places are these days, they're pretty contrasting to the damage that's out here as well. Got a couple significantly large trees that have fallen because of the storm, and then you got a really incredible intersection of water right here. So it seems like a great spot to sit down for a little bit, do some meditation, try to ground ourselves out in nature for just a little bit. So I'm gonna walk over here and see if we can find a good spot to get set up and take a few minutes to relax. Thanks for being here. All right, we found a great spot where we're gonna sit down and have the next part of our adventure right here. So this channel is about exploration in nature and of nature, in these creek beds, looking for cool features and things like that. But it's also about exploring ourselves. It's about being, for me, it's about trying to be as present as possible in this moment which translates hopefully to the rest of my life. Again, the world is hectic. It's very loud right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. I like to come out here and reconnect with nature and reconnect with myself. When I think about mindfulness, I think about meditation, at least initially. Meditation is great for me because I focus on my breathing, which is something that is happening in the present. I'm not trying to worry about what comes next. I'm not trying to worry about what's already happened. I'm trying to focus on my breath and be here right now and be as present as possible. A lot of people will say when you meditate, you know, you're trying to get rid of the thoughts. And to me, that's not something that can actually happen. To me, mindfulness means that we're paying attention to those thoughts. We're realizing which ones might be negative, which ones might be positive, which ones might be us in the present. And we're trying to let them all pass by to try to be here right now. So that's our goal. Last time we did this for 5 minutes, so we'll just do that again since we're only a couple videos into this. As we do more, we'll try to kind of extend the sessions, but for those of you that have meditated, for those of you that have sat down and closed your eyes by yourself, 5 minutes can seem like an eternity, so hopefully you'll stick with it with me, and I'm gonna plop myself right here for just a little bit. Thanks for being here, and here we go. thank you for being here today. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their mindfulness adventure out here in the Blue Ridge Mountains. We found a great spot to sit down and meditate for a little while, be present here in nature and reconnect. I feel much better. Hopefully everyone who joined me did as well. We're gonna do this every week where I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna explore the woods, creeks, work hard and find a cool spot to sit down and relax and be present for just a little while. So everybody out there knows how YouTube works. If you liked the video, please subscribe for more. Please like if you can, and I look forward to hearing people's comments below. Thank you for being here. Get out there and enjoy the day.